Okay, when we start power tools, I have the students do a cutting contest, and what I have them do is I have them grab a 2x4 that's at least 24 inches long, and I have them measure out 23 inches on that board. Put the line straight across using a speed square so they get it nice and straight. From there, I have them write drop on the short side and product on the long side. The product is the part that we're going to keep. That's what we're going to be using. The drop is what goes in the trash can or back on the rack. It's what we're not going to be using for this project. So anyway, here we got drop and product, 23 inches. And I have them go ahead and go to the miter box, cut it off, and then they bring the board to me. And I measure it, and I find out how long it is. Now, if it's, let's say it's 23 1/8, well, that means it's a variance of 1/8 of an inch. So what I would do on the back side of their board is I would write 1/8 of an inch. Now, it doesn't matter if it's plus or minus, it's just 1/8. So if this is an example of their board, on the back side of their board, they're going to have 1/8 written onto it. Then I give them the next measurement of 22 1/2. Have them draw their line. Now by this time, I'm not having them write down product and drop. I'm just having them, mark the line. They bring it over, they cut it, they measure it, they bring it back to me. I measure it, and let's say it's, a 1/16 under. So they've cut, instead of 22 1/2, they've cut 22 7/16. So then down at the bottom of the board, you're just going to write 1/16. And you're going to continue doing that with all the measurements, about 10 of them. So you're going to have a board, when they're done, about 10, 11 inches long. And what they will end up doing is they will take all these measurements. Let's say you got an 1/8, you got a 1/16, you got a 1/4 in here, you got a 1/2, they really messed up on one of them. So they're going to take and they're going to add up all these measurements. Now, one thing I never do, or try not to do, is to tell them, okay, you need to add up those fractions. No, because they've come into my class with this idea of math is they can't do it. So I try not to use math terms, at least not at the very beginning. So what I'll do here is I'll say, you need to add up your measurements. So they'll take these measurements and they'll look at them, and I'll say all the measurements need to have the same size. So they will convert these all down to probably 1/16 on this one, and then they'll add them up and they'll tally up and figure out how many inches, how many their total measurement that they'll have there. Whoever gets the lowest variance, the lowest number on what they were off, is the winner. Now I'll have them do this twice. The second time, after I have showed them how to burn an inch. That will help them to understand and to be able to get a more exact measurement whenever they're cutting. And it'll also help them to understand where that line actually needs to be when they draw it across here. So the second time, I expect a little bit better quality, better precision on their cuts. And this will set them up for all the rest of the power tools as far as getting things more exact. Hand tools, you can have a little bit of a variance. That's just the way it is. But power tools, you should be able to cut things, very close to being exact. And that's what I try to exemplify and try to push forward to the kids. Thank you.